With 2020 in general being fairly dry with news on the rest of Nintendo products for the year, almost like there's a pandemic going on or something, it's not to say we've gotten nothing when it comes to rumors on games, DLC, and more for Nintendo in 2020. Some of these rumors have come true, like the recent Nintendo Direct Mini, but a majority have either been disproven, unconfirmed, or laughed at. One of these rumors, though, that's been consistently reported on as being true by multiple sources is the rumor of the Mario HD Remasters collection containing HD remasters of Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy all being sold in a collection together on the Switch. I don't really talk about this series much before, but the Mario series is a special one to me. It was my first ever series from Nintendo. My first game from Nintendo ever was actually Mario Kart DS. Ever since this, I've been with the Mario series, and even met some of my closest friends through it. And these three games, especially Mario Galaxy, are some of my favorite 3D platformers of all time. For today's video, I wanted to give my thoughts on the supposed Mario HD remasters, if these end up being true. So, let's mosey. I want to start off here with the HD remaster of Super Mario 64. Now, while 64 is an amazing game, I've always secretly hoped for a remaster of the game on modern platforms. Sure, there was Mario 64 DS, which added 3 new characters, 30 more stars, new power-ups, all that stuff, but the control scheme held it back, with the D-pad really feeling awkward to use it with. However, it's still a great game in my opinion, whether it's the original or the DS version. In my opinion, a remaster of Mario 64 in this day and age would be pretty great, as I feel that the game really does need it in some ways. Do I see that much being changed? Not really. I am more or less expecting it to be the same game. If there is one thing though, I kinda want the art style to be something really unique, and not just using Odyssey's visuals. I would love it if they used a style similar to the promotional material from back in the day. Hell, some have done this with PC mods of the game, where it has this style. But hey, either or, I'd be pretty happy with it happening. However, if I'm gonna be honest, I actually would prefer if the DS version was remastered over the original. Don't get me wrong, I love the original Mario 64, it's still a great game. But like I said prior, 64 DS added so many things that, in my opinion, made it the complete version of 64 by a long shot. Luigi, Wario, and Yoshi as playable characters, new levels, 30 new stars, new power-ups, and that really fun multiplayer mode. 64 DS added so much to an already amazing game, that I would honestly consider it to be the best version of 64. But some things have held it back, like the controls, the audio, and the visuals being very, DS-y. Imagine 64 DS, but with all of those issues being remedied with a remaster. That would be amazing. Plus, a fully online version of that multiplayer mode from back in the day, where you'd have to collect silver stars and see who would win, that'd be awesome to see online. I loved that mode back in the day. The only thing that I think would actually be kind of tough is how the minigames would be handled, since a lot of them relied on the DS touchscreen. But hey, whether it be the DS version or the original, a modern day HD remaster of an already great 3D platformer would be something I'd be all for. In terms of anything I'd like to see added, I'm not too sure to be honest. I would love that online mode from DS being brought over in some way, if it is the original 64 getting the HD treatment. But I'm honestly not expecting that much, aside from maybe some quality of life adjustments. But we'll have to wait and see. But let's move on here to the next game in this rumored package, a remaster of Mario Sunshine. Truth be told, as much as I love Mario Sunshine, it's not my favorite 3D Mario. I've always had some gripes with it, all the blue coins being kind of a pain to grab in my experience, grabbing all the shine sprites, grabbing you nothing more than a bottle of alcohol, and I'm a chuckster can go chuck itself. But I still find it to be a great time, with the game controlling pretty well to this day, FLUDD being really fun to use, and all of the worlds having a wide variety of uniqueness to them and the actual designs all being really fun, aside from the reused bosses. There's still a lot to love about Mario Sunshine. Really, I think that most that'll be changed with the potential remaster is, aside from the visuals, would be more quality of life updates. Maybe making blue coins less ambiguous to find, some controls could be tweaked a bit, things like that. The only thing that kind of confuses me for how they do a Sunshine remaster is, well, how FLUDD would be handled. FLUDD utilized the GameCube controller's analog triggers, meaning that depending on how lightly or roughly you press the triggers, FLUDD's water would match that. But the Switch doesn't have analog triggers, so I'm kind of confused on how they would even do that, if they keep it at all. I also wonder if they keep the voice acting from the original game in the cutscenes, or maybe updated a bit with different voices, though I see that honestly being pretty unlikely. But hey, we'll have to wait and see what will happen to a potential Mario Sunshine remaster. Truth be told, it's actually the game I'm looking the least interested in the whole package. Not to say I'm not looking forward to it, but it's the one I'm definitely looking the least forward to. But the one I'm most looking forward to is Super Mario Galaxy, my favorite 3D platformer ever made. It goes without saying how phenomenal of a game Galaxy is, even over 10 years later. It's an incredible game that still holds up extremely well. For a potential remaster, well, there's only one thing for me really, the visuals. Galaxy 1 still holds up pretty damn well visually to this day, and a remaster? I can't even imagine how the game could possibly look. Really, I think this goes without saying, I think this is the one that would get the most attention out of the whole package if it ends up being real from fans. It's already a great game, but adding modern day visuals to it, That sounds amazing. I wonder if they'd reorchestrate anything either, which I'd be a bit okay with. Mario Galaxy used a full orchestra for quite a bit of its music, and it's still one of the best video game OSTs ever. That's a hill I'm willing to die on. But while the potential of a remaster is great, there are some things that kind of worry me. One thing is obvious: the motion controls, specifically the pointer. Mario Galaxy 1 and its sequel both use the Wii's IR sensor to point at the screen to interact with some parts of the game, as well as collect star bits, sort of the game's currency. My wonder is how they'd replicate that with the Switch though. Would he use the art stick? That wouldn't be too surprising actually, since they can map the camera to the D-pad too, just like the original. I'd assume Joy-Cons would probably be the best way to play this game, kind of like Odyssey in a way, with how many moves Mario could use in that game. I also hope Rosalina's storybook stuff is kept completely intact. I actually don't want to spoil this, but it's a legitimately great section of the game that I highly recommend checking out if you've never done so before. But really, out of everything in this rumored package, I'm the most excited for the possibility of a Galaxy 1 remaster. Like I said, this is my favorite 3D platformer ever made, so the idea of it getting a remaster is awesome, especially for the visuals. If it happens, I'm pretty goddamn excited. But let's talk about that last point though. If it happens. Really, do I believe these rumors about a potential Mario 3D Remasters collection? I'm confident with how many people have backed it up, but also cautious. On the one hand, I think it is believable, given the timing of this being Mario's 35th anniversary. I think this makes a ton of sense to make this a thing, to celebrate his strongest 3D ROMs, now in the most recent Nintendo home console. On the other hand, it's a reminder to take every rumor with a grain of salt, even if it sounds awesome. It's just a fair warning I'd give, and not just about this, but for any rumor about any game. But that's about all I have to say. So with that said, what would you want from these games if they do end up getting remastered? Any changes? Anything removed? Let me know down below. Thank you all very much for watching, have a great night, and signing off. Peace out, soldiers.